There, she knows it. Good. Oh, Tarek says I should have cut off my mind of limiting thoughts. Suzanne should have cut out the BS that bothered her at work that she carried home. Kimberly says she should cut out some of the podcasts. Too much listening time. Way too much time on that. You know what? Some other people they were starting too many Ronald, too many programs at once, man. Right? Let's see. I'm going back through. These are pretty funny, actually, some of these. Angelina should have cut out procrastination. That's a good one, too. It's just like being aware. Less Netflix and sugar. That's so good. Video games. You all know what you need to cut out. So make sure that you've journaled that in. And here's why I'm having you make sure you're journaling this, because by the end of the year, you're going to be so ambitious to set your New Year's resolutions. Sometimes the most important thing going into a new year is what you're not going to do. Not just what are the dreams and things. Like this year, I don't break boundaries. I don't eat the croissant ham and cheese. I don't let energy vampires, haunt me for 8 weeks. You got to be aware of these things. That's how you mature and get better. It's how every year I feel like, man, I'm getting so much better because I'm doing these things. And what this is going to take? This is going to come right back to one thing we talked about that you guys liked, accountability. We've got to learn to cut it out. We got to go, okay, I'm accountable for that. No one else is going to discourage me from eating ham and cheese croissants. That's got to be me. That's got to be me. I got to know. I'm just telling you, there's ways to do this. You got to be aware of it. Okay, let me move on. I like this one. If you look back through 2019, who do you know at this point, literally now, do you need to connect with? So the first one's cut out. What activities, projects, issues, things you need to cut out, or could you have cut out, and why? What did you learn from them? And then this one, who do you need to connect with? And what I mean by that is, if you look back at 2019, did you fail to have some connection moments? And I know people are like, why don't you start with the positive? I'm like, no, I really want you to think about because this is usually top of mind for people. Did you fail to connect with your daughter enough? Did you fail to connect with your spouse enough? Did you fail to connect with your audience enough? One of my connections is I sucked on my newsletter, my email newsletter, for the very first time in 13 years. I had the highest level of infrequent sends to my broader newsletter this year than I ever had. I failed to connect with my audience via email. I really did. I just got busy and started doing things. That was a big connection point failure of 2019. It won't happen in 2020. I learned it, right? I learned that. I didn't connect with my nephews as much as I should have this year, right? Started off pretty good, ended pretty weak. Good to know. Okay. And again, these aren't things to make you hate yourself. It's just things to be accountable for, to be aware of. Because I bet you also had some great connection points this year. I made a lot of new friends this year. I made more new friends that I'll be friends with over the next coming years this year than I've probably made in the last 3 years combined. And I make a lot of friends. I made great friends this year. Just real people I want to hang out with and see all the time. And that was a huge benefit. I've traveled this year to see my friends more than I've ever traveled before. And they traveled to see me more. This was a great year for friendship for me, and I'm super pumped about that. But I screwed up on the nephews. Okay, great. Let's recalibrate now. That's all. No hatred, no upset, just being aware. I think that is absolutely critical. So who did you need to connect with? Right down below, right? Christopher saying, little sister, going to college soon. Need to connect with them. Pippi's got to connect with her partner. Phil's got to connect as well with a spouse. Lifelong girlfriends, husband, kids. Notice this is a lot of family stuff. Is there somebody on your team you need to connect with more? Right? I think every member of my team would say, well, Brendon, you need to connect with. This would be the year the teams got so big, there was only so much Brendon to go around, and it was just a reality of the year. Just got to be accountable, got to be aware, got to better manage, no negativity. It's just part of it. So look at all this, y'all. So many of you aware of this, write it down. Make sure you write it down. These are insights into your life. Write them all down. Okay, with that, I'm going to go to, let's see, What to cut out? Who to connect with? Who did you not connect with? And let me just, if I can, something I encouraged my mastermind last month is know who you do need to connect with or you failed to, and repair that in this next 45 days, right? If you got a team member you got to connect with, make it happen. You got a spouse, a friend, a partner, somebody you failed in 2019 is not over. You still got time. And listen, almost every relationship can be repaired with 1 or 2 phone calls. That's it. Hop on FaceTime with the nephews for 20 minutes. I'm good for 6 weeks with them. They're cool. That's all it takes. 20 minutes. Find the 20 minutes, dude. Get on FaceTime with their little buddies. And they're happy. So if you didn't win yet in 2019 connecting with somebody, you can repair that in a 20-minute phone call. Let's get back in the game, y'all. Don't run into November, December trying to finish all your projects while you forget your people. Last big piece. What did you create? What did you create this year that you're really proud of? And what did you fail to create? What did you create and what did you fail to create? I love this question. I do this every year and I was like, ugh. Okay, this year, what did I create I'm proud of? I created a bigger teams. Super proud of that. Created a new life experience for me and my wife. Super proud of that. What did I create? Created about 100 new worksheets and a couple hundred new videos. We created some new funnels. We created some new offers. We created new branding. I mean, we were creating a lot in the business. That was super fun. That was really, really fun. We created some new team rhythms and organization that's going better. We've created new jobs for people. We've created a lot of new fun things. So I'm super pumped about that. What did I fail to create? Well, I know that I failed to create our new supplement line at the speed I should have, right? We're in the final year of creating this full line of supplements, not MLM, just straight up retail supplements, and I failed to move that project forward and complete it. Again, not mad at myself, just aware. I didn't create that line. And I researched that line for 4 years. And this was the year I was going to put the bow on top of it, finish it, have it all up there, have it ready for sale. Didn't get it done. I haven't yet created a sort of seamless e-commerce store experience that we got team working on it. I just didn't get there. I should have had that locked and loaded 4 months ago. But just team changes, movements and things, I didn't get that. That frustrates me. What I didn't create enough white space of time for Denise and I to just hang without worrying about building, hiring, scaling. I'm not saying we didn't do any. I'm just saying we could have created more. So again, it's not being mad. It's just being aware. I'm like, I could have created a few more magical moments with my wife so far. Good news is, I've got 45 days left in the year. So do you. So can you create those things? You've been waiting on them. Can you create them? I think that's really important. What did you create? What didn't you create? Leah created some muscles. Ask him new organizational structure. Charlene created a new website. Congratulations. Or I don't know if that's a to-do one. Wetton's created a new product line. Matt, new book, new Kickstarter, new site. Failed at that. Cool, man. I get it. Failed to reach 1 million in sales. Aware of that. That's good. That's good. Soroya created new books, but marketing, not a downfall. Nope, not a downfall. You just didn't create that funnel yet. You didn't create that promotion sequence yet. That's okay. So these are just being aware of it, y'all. Lisa, congratulations on writing that book. Super happy to hear that. Christine created a fat loss habits channel. Congratulations. I think all this is really important, right? And here's the thing, you still got time. That's why we're doing this in November. I hate yearly reviews in the last week of December. It's such a fail, right? You're just like, you do a yearly review in the last of December, you're like, you got time, baby. You have plenty of time to repair those relationships, create those things that you're waiting on, and get them done. All right, with that, I'm going to bounce over to some Q&A. with you guys. Yes, I do have the D's left. I know, I'm aware. Okay, so I do have some D's, but I'm gonna hop over and find Emily's recap here for me of some questions. I'm gonna do some Q&A with you guys, so post your questions down below. My team's been grabbing them up for you, and then I'll come out and I'll finish strong with your D's. We've got the A, B, C's, and D's. I forgot though, if you could tell me which one you loved the most, so I learned from you. Was the cue point on what to cut out your fave? Was the cue point on who to connect with? Or was the cue point on what to create or what needs to get created? Which one was the one you resonated with the most? I'm going to actually type mine in down below. Bam. There's mine. Let's see who else had it. Oh my God, y'all. Hey! You're just like me. So mine was connect. And look at everybody. Connect was the winner. Okay. It's nice to know some of you else suck with your relationships. Just teasing y'all. I'm glad you still got time. Call them, FaceTime them, call them up. I know, I thought that was funny too. So listen, this one's easy. This one's easy. Who do you need to connect with? Bam! Pick up that phone, get that FaceTime going, send that flirty text, do what you got to do to connect with that person. Get it on, man. Get that connection going on. You got plenty of time. It looks to me like connect and cut out were probably the winners here. I think they were. I think that makes sense because as far as a community, some of you guys have create as well. Stephen, Andrew had create here. Paula had create in here. I think that's awesome. Hope had some create in here. So we had some create. I think knowing this audience, I know how much you guys love to create, which is awesome. Sometimes that creation can come at the cost of connection. So be aware of that. How's this going today?
Good.
It's going good, y'all? You're happy? Okay, good. So we're going to go into some Q&A. So if you haven't posted your questions, go ahead and post them down below. Okay. Sophia Fonseca is asking, Brendon, how do we know the right projects to carry on to 2020 and the ones to leave behind? Sophia, great question. Okay, in two ways, I'm going to bunt on that. Because A, Sophia, we're going to take that on next month's HPX Livecast. So make sure you guys come back for the coaching next month because we're going to take on how to wrap up and finish projects, but what should go into them. But I also want you, if you would, Sophia, make sure you go watch the last 2 months of replays right in your coaching members area because you're going to find the answers in those live casts. You'll get clarity on them. Ultimately, here's what you know. The right projects to carry on to 2020 are the ones that you did not finish that will give you near-term momentum in the first 2 quarters of 2020. Meaning, if you started a project right now, and it's a project, if you're honest with yourself, it's a 2-year out project, a 3-year out project. Maybe you finish it this next year, but you're not going to promote it or launch it a year from. No. What's going to give you that near-term, quarter 1 or quarter 2, 2020 momentum that's significant? I mean, I want you to, will this give me significant momentum in the first 2 quarters? Now, I know people are like, well, Brendon, that's just near-term thinking. I'm like, no, she's asking about the projects to carry on to 2020. If it's not going to give you a near-term first 2 quarters, I'm like, great, park it until that 3rd or 4th quarter of 2020 if you feel it's going to give you significant momentum, right? Will it give you significant growth, progress, satisfaction, fulfillment, momentum? If you don't identify as significant, lose it. It's time to recalibrate to big, bold moves, to significant needle movers in your life and your career. Because guess what? You're starting a new decade. I want your first 2 quarters of next year to be hot, big momentum, moves. Start the new decade like wowing yourself with what you are capable of, not mindlessly finishing projects you just have to put a button on. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather have you drop crap in the first 2 months of the year and take on the things that are really going to move the needle for you. I hope that helps. Sophia, to help you do that, we're going to give you this program called Your Next Bold Move. It's the course I did with Oprah Winfrey Network that really helps you identify what should you focus on for the next big things. I hope that will serve you. That's Sophia Fonseca. Just for being here, $300 course. Love you. Let's see. Eric is asking, Eric Isaacson. Hi, Brendon. I had to take a full-time job recently to keep the wolves away. And I'm not generating what I want, basically. I'm finding myself really juggling a lot and getting overwhelmed a bit. How can I best keep my eye on the ball while working in the full-time position to retain my sanity? Thanks. I use a high-performance planner, attend classes, but still get behind the 8 ball, so to speak. No problem, Eric. We all have that. So a couple things, Eric, I think that are really important. When you already have a full-time thing and you're trying to do a lot on the part-time thing, there's 2 huge things that have to happen. One, beginning of the week, you need to block time. Don't just use the planner. I mean judiciously block the hours. When you got a full-time thing and a side thing, you have to block the hours. It's the most important thing. But it's not just blocking hours. It's blocking hours that move towards milestones. Like you need checkpoints. You need to go, okay, for 3 weeks, it's going to lead to this goal. And then that next 3 weeks, is like you need to really build it. I would recommend if you haven't got one yet, Eric, or not using one yet, go watch the training. It's on all your members' training on the battle board. Go watch the battle board training and learn to really architect out projects. Watch last month's training right here in HPX Coaching. I broke down how to really build and schedule out projects and make sure you hit them. So please make sure you watch that because was that last month? I feel like it was. That was probably my best training on project management I have ever done. Last month's training right here in HPX Coaching. Just go watch the replay. Super powerful, Eric. I think that'd be huge. Number 2, I would, to the utmost of your ability, Eric, focus on delegation and team support. Because if you got a full-time thing and you're doing a part-time thing, what most people do is they make the mistake of saying, oh, well, I'll do the full-time thing and I'll do the part-time thing. And they try to do that by themselves. And the better thing would do, you know what? Make yourself, if you got to play that full-time role here, play full-time role here. If you also have to add the part-time, instead of part-time being you full, play part-time manager, coordinator, project planner, and delegate that to an assistant or outsource it. I think that's so critical. For example, if I had a full-time job and I had to, build a full e-commerce site, I wouldn't do it on the side. Instead, I'd have my full-time job, and on the side, I'd be outsourcing with Odesk or Fiverr, managing somebody to build it for me. I would not be teaching myself to code on the side, teaching myself to build one page and one transaction on the side. If you have to have full-time and part-time, use the part-time to manage someone you are outsourcing. You'll go 10 times faster. Because guess what? While you are part-time managing them, they're full-time working your project. You got it? While you are part-time managing them, they or their teams are full-time managing and creating that project. You go so much faster. I wish I had figured that out earlier on, Eric. I hope that serves you. To help you also work through all that, Eric, we've got this program called the High Performance GPS, Goals, Priorities, Scheduling Mastery. High Performance GPS. We'll make sure you get that. That's for Eric Isaacson. Just for being here live today, people. Okay, Allison is saying, Brendon, how do I carry it all? I keep hearing that I need to rest and recharge, but how do you do that? How do you know what to let go of? Great question. Allison, it's like, I've been teaching for as long as I've been in an influencer position, which is if it is not bringing you joy, fulfillment, meaning, or real progress, that's what to let go of. So first, the measures of life. Is this bringing me joy? Is this bringing me meaning, progress, fulfillment? If it's not that, or it's not majorly moving you forward, because some things suck and you got to do the things that suck and they move you forward. But if it's not moving you forward or bringing that emotional connection with it, that's what to drop. Second, I don't think you have to carry it all. This assumption that you have to carry it all, I think you need to leverage people, lean on people, ask for some help. I think that's really important. And when you hear someone saying you need to rest and recharge, they're not saying you need to take a day off for pina coladas at the beach. However, highly recommend. What they're usually saying is, you know what? Give yourself 10 minutes of sanity today. Instead of scrolling through social media for 20 minutes, close your eyes for 20 minutes and meditate to refresh your brain versus teach your brain to react. They're not saying take a 4-day vacation. They're saying, you know what? Protect your peace. Like, protect your peace. Like, make sure you're not doing extra things that are pulling away from it. No one has to do it all. No one has to do it all. I have a friend of mine who, she's got 6 kids. And I asked her one day, how do you do it all? And she just laughed. She goes, I don't do it all. She goes, I let the kids do a lot. I let it be in God's hands. She goes, when I drop the kids off at school in the morning, you know what I do? I said, what? She goes, I pull a block away from their school. I pull over, I park, I kick the chair back, I close my eyes for 10 minutes. And I pray, or I meditate, or I nap, and then I go about my day. But all of that, like rigmarole in the morning, getting 6 kids ready, it's so much stress and that I gotta just stop the world for 10 minutes, release, reset, go. So don't think it has to take a lot of time. I really believe almost everyone watching this, if you all just did 2 more release tension, set intention sessions per day, you'd feel like a new person. You can carry on exactly what you're carrying, doing exactly what you're doing, but just 2 more times during the day that you just take a moment for yourself, release the tension in your body and your mind. You can practice the release meditation technique if you want. Just Google that, release meditation technique, type my name in. There'll be a full 20-minute instruction video of how I meditate every day. Set an intention and go. I think that, coupled with something like this, is a huge, huge thing. Most people's overwhelm is straight, good old-fashioned time management. They're just not doing a great job on time management. And I don't pretend that's easy, but I pretend it's possible. So Allison Skinner, let's get her the Productivity Masterclass, another $300 program just for being here live today. Okay, Anne Dreyer asked, I really want to know, how do you develop a sense of progression and completion? I've been having a difficult time with both, and this is a great question. To develop a sense of progression, go back, watch the battle board HPX coaching. Basically, go watch the last 2 months. Just go do that. Go rewatch the last 2 months. And if you guys didn't know it, in your members area, you can download these MP3s. So I can be in your ear when you're out for a jog or you're out for a drive and you can't watch me like this. In your members area, we post the MP3s separately so I can be annoying in your head 24/7. But just make sure you can listen to those, but I would really watch the battle board session and the project planning session. For most of you who are asking project planning, progression, completion, that's time management stuff, okay? I would watch that, Anne. But also the sense of completion. I think the reason most people don't complete things isn't because, they're not hard workers, and isn't because, they even have a deadline. It's they don't know what to do. Like, we have to teach ourselves, what does complete look like? Like, what is the finish line? Like, what's the checkpoint? Right? Some people, they say, well, I still haven't written that book yet. I'm like, well, what does completion look like to you? Well, it's done when I write it. I'm like, oh, because to me, completion looks like this. It's in my hand and I can hand it to somebody. I have completed my book project when I can hand it to somebody. Everything else before that is thinking. But the completion of the project is, here it is. That's how I think about it. And I work backwards from that. Completion is a physicalization of something to me. It is an output. It is a transaction. It is a give. It is a manifestation that you can see. But I'm very aware of that. I knew this project was completed when it looked like this. So you got to know, what does complete actually look like for you? And if you don't know that, You're always perpetually working on something, and guess what? If you're always perpetuating and you never feel like you crossed the finish line on something, it's at the back of your head. There you are, sitting there eating sushi, thinking about the 50 different things you haven't done yet because you don't even know what your completion projects look like. So I want you to go, like, what does complete look like here for all these projects? Well, tell me, what exactly did that look like? I think that will really serve you. Okay. I'll skip a few of these are really good. This is good. Sutherland's asking, I've got clarity in my mission this year, but not necessarily in my message. How do you find clarity in our message that stands out, is unique and authentic, and resonates with your audience? That's more of an influencer business program question, but I have seen a lot of questions that came in from you guys previously about you feel like 2019 you didn't find your message or find your audience or find your thing, so I will cover that here today. Because I think the way that you do that is, Sutherland, instead of thinking like, oh, I know my elevator pitch as a mission or message, instead what I'd love for you to do is write down what are your top 10 values, the top 10 most important things to you. Then write down what are the 10 things you love to teach the world. And those two things become used in whatever messaging you're sharing that day. Meaning, no matter what I'm teaching, there's going to be an underlying value ethic and underlying teaching points that I'm aware of, that I'm always cherry picking, but they're kind of always the same. I might pick these 3 today, those 2 today, but they're always there. And so over a period of time, they're like, oh, his message is live, love, matter. His message is high performance, even if I'm taking it on in different perspectives. His message is challenge yourself, be accountable, don't just show up, have intention, serve with excellence. Those themes are what you're going for, not elevator pitches. Themes of value and themes of teaching point. So that's how you find it. What are your values? And always incorporate those into whatever your message is that day. What are your teaching points, the things you wish the world knew, and incorporate those. And over a period of time, the themes become the perception of a message. Does that make sense? Like some days I teach straight about, living a vibrant, fully charged life. Other day, I'm all about habits. Other times I'm about confidence. Other times influence. Other times productivity. But what unites it all is that these are themes that come up for Brendon over and over. Third party again. Yep. Comes up for Brendon. I must have watched some TV where some dude was referring to himself a third party. I don't know what's happening with me today. Okay, I hope that helps you. Okay, I know. I'm still going to finish on time, guys, today because we have a lot of live casts. I know some of you guys are part of them. And I'm going to give you guys a reset, so I got about 10 minutes. I apologize. We did start late today, but I need to make sure that we do a good job at this. Okay. One sec. I'm typing in my favorite one back to you. Okay. These are good. I'm sorry, I'm trying to catch up on your questions too. What I think, y'all, I'm just looking back through your comments here. I actually think you have been the most engaged, and I'm pumped about this because I know it's the end of the year, but I also really appreciate some of you who hung out with me today as we were really struggling to get things going. I really appreciate you all because sometimes, you're in new places setting things up and it takes a bit. So I appreciate it. Thank you. I appreciate that, Shelly. Thank you, Sutherland. I hope that you liked it. Thank you, Nelly. Okay. I'm going to move on to the D's. Let me do a fast recap for you guys. I see that. I see it. Okay. Let me do a fast recap. Today, the A, B's, C's, and D's in the order I went looked like this. Number 1, this is your framework. Type this out for me, guys. Action. Number 2, accountability. Number 3, acceptance. Then we took on what bothered you. We took on what burnt you out. We took on what built you up. Then the C's, we took on what you need to cut out, who you need to connect with, and what you created or need to create. Bam. Now the fun stuff. This is my favorite part. Here we go. We are 45. Did I already say it's my favorite part? Okay, they're all 9 of those are my favorite part. Wait, 3, 6, 9. Yeah, okay. I I said 9-part framework. I think this turns out to be 12. Bonus round! Okay. The D's, here we go. My very, very favorite one. This year, what did you decide or fail to decide that would have been important? What I'd love for you to do in 2019, what were your major decisions? What were your major decisions? How'd those turn out? That's an important part of analysis. What were my major decisions this year? How did those turn out? Decisions for myself, for my family, for my business. How did those turn out? Like, we decided to rebrand. How did it turn out? Here's the pros list. Here's the cons list. Yeah? We decided to move to Puerto Rico. Pros and cons. I want you to break down your major decisions and put your pros and cons. What was good about that decision? What was bad about that decision? Be super familiar with that. What are the major decisions you made this year? Maybe it was like, move, do this, start that, hire this person. What was the pros and the cons? Because that's how you get smarter every year. But also, you got 45 days left in the year as we're shooting this today. What's something you must decide today? Some of you have been thinking, one day I'll move there. Decide today. Well, one day I'm going to start this business. Decide today. I'm going to lose this jerk in my life. Decide today. I'm going to go buy that thing. Do it. Pull the trigger. Let's go. Like, no more indecisiveness gets to enter the next decade of your life. All that indecisiveness you had over the last 5 years punked you, hurt your life, held you back. Be bold, be decisive. What must you decide right now? Like, it's scary. I mean, we're about to, we've gone through this rebrand, we rebrand again, and da-da-da-da-da. Even this morning, about the 50th cycle through this conversation, I'm like, okay, we're going to pull, bam, we're going to do it. You just make that decision. It doesn't mean you have it all figured out. It doesn't mean it's not going to be a pain in the butt. It means you made the decision. God bless you. Good for you. Go forward with faith. Make it happen. You got to pull the trigger, as they say. Get it done. Make the bold decision and don't walk back. Set sail. Whatever metaphor you want to have, what are the major decisions that you know you need to make that today you make them? Because you know what? If we spent this time together and all we had is today you made a major decision and you got clear on it, and with your spouse, your partner, your team, you said, this is what's up, this is where we're going, made the call, and you spoke from a place of confidence, I promise you, it's relieving. Because you know what, coming back to one of these things, do you know what is bothering a lot of you? Indecision. You go year over year thinking about the thing, but you don't make the decision and execute. And every piece of indecisiveness adds up in the back of your mind like a merry-go-round of doubt. And that merry-go-round is swinging and swinging and swinging, spinning and spinning and spinning. And it's punking you. It's messing you up. So you got to go, okay, let me decide. What's the critical decision we need to make? And maybe you can't make it on your own. Maybe you got to call up your spouse, your partner, your friend, your team tonight and go, this is what's up. Don't know, but by the time we hang up, we know. And you make the call. Now. Today. You got 45 days left. If you don't do it now, you're going to really carry that decision into a new decade. You know how debilitatingly sad that would be for me? Well, I guess I'm going to carry the same decision that I've been waiting to make into another decade. This is not anything to brag about. You know what I did in my life? I carried indecision from decade to decade. No one puts that on the tombstone. No one wants that in the obituary, that you were a faithful carrier of indecision. It sounds like a disease. I'm a carrier of indecision. No, we want you to be decisive, be bold. I always tell people, I was really inspired by Jeff Bezos and his reporting one year to a senior leadership team. He said to them that in general, Amazon over the last couple of decades has made the decision to do what they were going to do when they only had anywhere between 40 and 60% of the information. Right? We all wait until, when I have 100% of the data, 100% of the information, then I'll go. But the guy who became the richest person in the world and built the biggest brand in history, he goes, no, we often only have 40 or 60% of the decision, and we go. So stop waiting for perfection. Stop waiting for all the intel. Stop waiting for all the data and all the inputs. Make the decision. Try. Go. You can pivot later. Get on with it. I think that is the most important thing I can tell you over and over and over again. Almost all of the things bothering you come back to failure to decide. So make the decision. If you're going to fix that relationship, fix it or don't fix it. Move on. If you're going to fix the business, fix the team, fix the thing, get it done this year. Don't carry it into 2020. I'm telling you what, it's so important. Like just the other day, we were here, and I had to make a decision I didn't want to make. Like we were working on this other commercial property down here for building our new team, and it was like I kind of want it, but there's this risk, and we're like in this I'm going back and forth with all these people about it, and we talking to the lawyers here and the realtors here and the owners here, and it was like I had that maybe 14 emails in my inbox and like 3 texts on it, and I was like, copy all, hey all, deals off, not moving forward with this property, too much hassle. Thank you so much for your time. Let's move on to the next one. Brendon. It was like 14 people on that damn email. It felt so good. I went and got a pina colada. But the decision, just writing the decision out and telling people that's where we're going. I was up how many nights worrying about that space? Can we get this? Can we do that? No. Cut it loose, man. Not the right thing. Cut it loose. Next. Right? I remember Jack Canfield and Mark Victor Hansen teaching me that. The 4 most powerful letters in the English language. N-E-X-T. Next. I remember hearing that when I was 20-some years old. I thought, that's powerful. Next. Cut it loose. Move on. Make that decision. I hope that will support you and get you fired up about the end of this year. Okay. Next big thing is, you're going to make a lot of decisions. I would love for you to write down all the major decisions that you are going to make. And you are going to support. And you're going to get done. And you're going to make that decision this week. This upcoming week. Right? At this point, right? You've been in therapy with your spouse for 17 years. It ain't working. Call a spade a spade. Call up the therapist. Am I stupid to make this decision right now? If they tell you yes, maybe think about it. If they tell you, well, I've been thinking you make that decision about 5 years ago, make the decision. Right? Been waiting to decide, am I going to be paleo or keto? Choose one. Lose the weight. Oh my God, if you read one more blog post about how to lose the weight, I'm going to punch you. Just do it. Okay. Next D is to design. I love this one. Design the path forward. But before we get there, where did you fail to design your year? In 2019, where did the year design you versus you design it? What I mean by that, if you had a goal, did you make your battle board? Did you do your project plan? Did you design your life to support that end? You wanted to lose weight? Did you design your life to make that happen? Did you design it? Did you design the friendships? Did you design what's in the fridge? Did you design how you eat? Did you design how you think? Did you design your day? I can't tell. I know a lot of you guys have this. It's on a shelf. It looks pretty. You Instagrammed it and you have not even used it 10 days in a row. That's a failure to design. What people are doing is they are reacting, not designing, and that's why they're miserable. What people are doing is they are reacting, not designing. That's why they're miserable. They're not designing the decade. They're not designing the year. They're not designing the month. They're bumbling in. And they're always bumbling in. And everything's a new bumble. And it's just bumbling, which means you can never show up with full excellence if you're not working a plan. So if you don't know your plan, make a plan. If you need a plan that requires other people, a team, a boss, an outsourced partner, somebody, your spouse, make the plan. But if I show up in your house or your workplace and there's not a clear design of what you're working towards or what you're after or what you're measuring, if it's not being designed out, it's being left to hope. Somebody better have the design. If you don't have the design, get the design from the boss. If you don't know what to do, ask, where do I play in here? Where do I fit in here? What's the overall design of the mission, the company, the scale? I know a lot of you work for or participate with other people. You got to know where you fit in. I think it's really important. But in our own individual lives, too much is left to reaction, too much is left to distraction. And so we're not designing the ideal living experience that we want. I mean, think about 2019. Was it set up the way you wanted? Was it did it roll out in your intention? You know, to me, I look around, I'm like, wow, I designed this whole thing. It wasn't what I thought, but here we are, working and doing live casts from Puerto Rico, right? I designed that. I created that. I had the support of Denise and my team, but we're making it happen. We're moving day by day. We're designing the new brands, the new future, the new pages, the new funnels, the new metrics, the new things. Like it's constantly, we're constantly like, we've got this like ball of clay and we're making it do what we want. Sometimes a piece is ugly and whatever, but it's moving towards something. And I think it's important that we all know whether or not we are designing our destiny or we're along for the bumpy ride of the world's whims. Whether we are designing our life path or we're just marching under the flag of randomness. And that's why I'm always telling you guys, so many people leave their personal development to randomness, and it's why they're always in mediocrity. They're not designing the path forward. They're not designing their mindset. They're not designing their habits. Like me, this is not Brendon by nature. Brendon by nature was a shy kid, couldn't write, didn't know how to coach people, didn't know how to public speak, didn't know how to communicate, never talked with his arms, like completely different. I designed the person I became. I'm proud of that because the old person had a bad mindset. The original 1.0 Brendon was awkward and he didn't like being awkward. Now I'm awkward. I'm like, that's authentic, baby. You know, I like myself. I've designed myself. I think that's important. You got to sculpt yourself. And you know whether or not 2019 you sculpted your reality or you just took it. And you got to be honest about that. And I think there's nothing better than the next 45 days to design your life, design your holidays, design your vacations, design your businesses, design your brands. I think that's just super powerful. What am I on? Did I already do 1D? I did 2. Where'd my other? Oh, there it is. Okay. Decide, design, and the last thing is this is your homework between now and December. Is let's get out of 2019 and start thinking 2020. Let's dream big. I'd love for you to go through the whole life assessment in your planner and think about what is the big dream for this next decade. I want you to immediately watch this video again, unless it really bummed you out, and if it did, watch it 3 more times. And what I want you to do is listen to it again, do your whole homework, just crank in what did you learn in 2019. And then once you've done that, now I want you to let that go, take a long walk, and think, what do I want for my next decade? That's going to be the subject that we're going to take on in December's HPX coaching. We're going to help you figure out your decade, not January 1st, New Year's goals, your decade. We're going to design your next decade. We're not going to get it perfect. We're not going to get it right, but we're going to get you fired up. We're going to get you started. We're going to get you more strategic. Because wouldn't it be great? Think about the hot mess of your last decade, the randomness. And now think of all the maturity, all the skill, all the confidence, all the support you got, all the coaching you got right now, that you can strategically enter a whole decade. Think about how different of experience it would be. Wouldn't it be great to finish the next decade and go, I strategically crushed that year. Not I bumbled through, not I survived. I strategically smashed it. I moved all the chess pieces to make the ideal life for me and my family and my team and my impact in the world. That's December's HPX coaching. So a shout out to every single person here today. Thank you for your patience as we work through our first 15 minutes setting up stuff. Thank you for being part of this community. Thank you for all of your experience, your sharing, everything you've done down here. Now I know this one's an easy answer because I was super short on the last one. Which were your 3 favorites? Or which was your favorite here? Was it decide, design, or dream? I didn't speak too much to the dream because that's your homework, but I know you guys are going to enjoy that too. Which one resonated with you? Something you're really excited to pay attention to, gave you an aha, makes you think about? Which was yours? I'm going to write down mine right now. My very favorite one Man, you guys, we're kind of on the same wavelength today, because there's mine. Ooh, that's good. Oh, this one's really mixed. This one's mixed. Okay, mine was design. Design was my favorite one in that one, because I can't wait to design the next decade of my life. Make it big dreams, but I love the architecting, the chess pieces, moving it around. I love it. I love designing my day, designing my morning habits, designing these curriculums for you to help you always be thinking about the next level in your life. You deserve an incredibly vibrant and connected and excellence-driven life. So I congratulate you and cheer you on as a community for being here with us in HPX Coaching. I celebrate you. I can't wait to finish this year strong with each and every one of you. So until next month, go out there every single day. And remember, as Anissa always says, you can either show up and just go through the motions and be ordinary, or you can choose to be extraordinary. So my friends, go be extraordinary.